Dexamethasone. I'm on this shit right now. So was Trump this past week. Yep. So one of the possible side effects of this is delusions of grandeur. And like on the days that I have to take this, so my organs don't get inflamed and I die, I feel better than I did 20 years ago. Just kidding. But I do come up with some really solid future career plans. And this week I decided I could be a stand-up comedian. So yesterday morning, I wrote this piece. This is like a working title. This is my debut of Rich Bitch. I may have to use my notes, so just okay. Oh, yeah. That's the first thing my grandma Kina said when I brought my future husband Mitch home, right? She's like standing in the doorway, blocking the doorway with her mouth covered, right? And I'm like, what is it, Grandma Kina, right? So she was like this 4'8" tall, little old Okinawan woman from Hawaii. And she's like standing there, covering her mouth. What is it, Grandma Kina, I said? And she's like, oh, I better not say anything. I thought he'd be taller. So she's like just looking up ever so slightly at us. I'm really short. I'm like almost 5 feet tall, and Mitch is 5'6", right? And she's giving me stink eye, kind of sizing up Mitch and sizing up my intentions. You know, right? That look. Why you want to marry such old man? He must have big money. So I struck it rich when I met Mitch. We met at an AA meeting, and which is a hotbed of mental sanity, let me tell you. Rich bitch. Yep. So he was like 14 years my senior when he 13-stepped me. And for those of you not in 12-step programs, you're not supposed to date the first year because you're supposed to focus on your program. Hi, I'm Laura. I'm an alcoholic. That was like my pickup line when I was 21, right? After this brief stint of excessive clubbing. But apparently that worked on Mitch. I had these like 1990s baby bangs, right? So imagine like I'm sitting at this Lincoln Park Alano Club, the sunlight's coming in the afternoon, little baby bangs, right? And he's like, oh. So after the meeting, he asked me to go out to Starbucks. And then we moved in with each other 2 weeks later, yada, yada, yada. We've been married 25 years. So as my father-in-law likes to say, prison or marriage? Prison or marriage? If I had picked prison, I would have been out by now. Have any of you tried to hide a boyfriend or girlfriend from your mom? You're gonna get caught. Moms always know. They always know, right? You're gonna get caught. So my parents are fundamentalist Christians, and they live out in the woods in this tiny town called Paulsbo, this Norwegian town in the Pacific Northwest, on the other side of the country. So one day, my mom pays me this surprise visit in Chicago. So I had like my first art show, and I open the door, and I'm like, oh, hi, Mom. What are you doing here? Oh, I don't know whose shoes those are in the front entryway. Was that nice? She opens this one door. Oh, I have no idea why there's a white man hiding in my closet. I thought she'd understand because my mom was white. My mom was pretty good about adapting when she married my dad, who's, you know, Japanese American guy. So like growing up, there were like 2 things that made our house Asian American. So the first thing was like we ate rice every day, and the second thing is we always take our shoes off when we come in the house. Or maybe there's a third thing. My mom loves to walk around in this bathrobe that's like a blue and white print yukata kimono. So she really, really got into the no wearing shoes in the house rule. And when I was a teenager going through my like punk phase and all my friends had like 16-hole Doc Martens, they would not come over to my house because it was just too much of a hassle to take their shoes off. But yeah, my mom puts her own like Pacific Northwest white woman spin though on running an Asian American household. So instead of like switching into house slippers, like the ones I have on right here, nice little slippers, she has indoor Birkenstocks, which she wears with like fuzzy pink Geta slippers, like socks. It's cute. It's really cute. Yeah, but you know, adapting can be hard. Change can be hard. I am really proud of my mom though. She called me the other day and she's like, you know, she says that she and my dad are gonna vote for Biden and Harris this time around. And she even put up a campaign sign in the front yard. Like we have this like horse pasture out in the front of their house, and she put a sign up there. But it got taken down like within 24 hours. Somebody stole it. There's a lot of like Trump supporters out there in the country. But she like ordered a second sign, and then she climbed up a tree and put it up there. All right, so let me just repeat this. My 75-year-old, 90-pound white Christian mother climbed a tree to put up a Biden-Harris campaign sign. So I have some hope, small amount of hope. Extra vote. But I know change can be really hard. So for over 25 years now, I've been trying to like train my white husband to take his shoes off when he comes in the house, right? And I like to have them lined up really neatly in the mudroom, right next to each other in a line. I had to convert to Judaism when we got married, which took 2 years. And like my one request was like, take your shoes off when you come in the house. I can, a lot of times I'm always like, I see the shoes, they're all over the house. I'm like, why are your fucking shoes in the living room? Why are your shoes in the kitchen? So I can be difficult, bitch, so I'm told. I'm getting hot. So I have breast cancer. Yeah, I know that sucks, but good thing you caught it early. You're gonna kick cancer's butt. Hashtag Breast Cancer Awareness Month. Yeah. Okay, so but one of the benefits of having breast cancer are all the drugs they put you on. So I spend most of my days right here on the couch, laying here, not working, watching Netflix, and being really high. What? Oh, that's what y'all been doing during quarantine? All right, my bad. So the other day I was like super out of it from chemo, and Mitch came running back in the house like he forgot something, and then he saw me like giving him stink eye, right? So he just quickly like threw his shoes off, and like one landed halfway in the kitchen here and the other one like here, right? So it's forming this arc shape. Instead of yelling, I'm like, oh, it's an archipelago. What's an archipelago? It's like a chain of islands, like Hawaii or Japan. I know, that's not very funny. I thought it was funny though. I was cracking myself up. Yeah, change can be hard, but sometimes you just have to shift your perspective. Like, you know why I converted to Judaism? It's because of the food. You don't believe me? What? You don't believe me? Well, so it's not just about the gefilte fish and chopped liver, but I have to admit I love eating that on matzah. That's not just something we eat during Passover, it's like a year-long snack. You open up my fridge and then you'll see like leftover kimchi spam fried rice and like pickled herring. Have you had matzah pizza? Oh, you gotta try it, it's so good. So you take a piece of matzah and then put ketchup, like a little bit of ketchup. Passover ketchup is the best actually. Put that and then take some like provolone cheese. You put that in the microwave, melt it for like 15 seconds till it's all gooey, and then sprinkle a little bit of garlic salt on the top. Oh my God, it's so yummy. It's the best for munchies. Yeah, good stuff. Change can be hard. So when my mom and dad got married, she had like one request, she had one thing. And that was that she wanted her children to be treated equally, her future children, regardless of gender. So she was really against sort of that Japanese custom of favoring sons, and especially the number one son. And then when she learned that my grandmother, her mother-in-law, was coming to live with them too, she wanted to make sure that this one rule was really clear. So I'm the number one daughter, the oldest of 4 kids. And my parents were really strict with us, especially my mom. We had a lot of rules growing up. But I'm really glad that she didn't make me confined to like female gender roles. And she raised me to be like pretty bossy and independent. It might have been an accident though. I think I just like really talked me back. So one of the rules she had was that we weren't allowed to watch TV unless it was something educational on PBS, like Nova or something like that. And we had to do a lot of chores. So I'd wake up and there'd be like a list. For my brother was like, repair the fence in the front pasture, or for me, like wash the motor home. But it's like February and cold outside, and I had to be out there scrubbing it. So yeah, so my parents, they grew up working, right? So they wanted us to know the value of hard work. My dad grew up on a sugarcane plantation, and my mom, like with all the string of family businesses they had, metal scrapping, running a gas station, and then eventually like a roadside motel. So they wanted us to know how to be really resourceful and work hard. So after our chores were done, then they wanted us to like go outside and play in the woods, which, sounds like a good idea. But I think my mom should have been a little bit more strict with me because, science can be dangerous, really dangerous. Not just kidding, but Nova ended up being one of the worst influences for me. I like those archaeologist shows where they're like digging shit up and stuff. And I've always loved art. I'm an artist. And growing up, I had this fantasy of like being George O'Keeffe and being out in the desert painting skulls. Yeah. Water break. My cousin Scott Matsumoto and Melissa got me this. It says, I'm sorry, my cousin Scott Matsumoto and his wife Carrie bought me this. It says, "Dear Cancer, you picked the wrong bitch." Oh, it's my favorite water cup. You know, I had a pony growing up. Like that's how I knew I was rich. One, my dad was a doctor, and two, I had a pony. Booyah! So her name was Rusty, and she was like this spunky, rust-colored Shetland pony. And I used to ride her Western style, like this cowboy hat and boots, and the Wrangler jeans with a W on the back jean pocket. And I had this like Western pearl plaid snap button shirt. So I'd like jump Rusty over these like little, jumps that were made of white picket fences or something in the front yard, right? And like my two little braids would be like flying like this. Yeah. But, sometimes that got a little bit boring. So do you remember that 1979 movie, The Black Stallion? So my other fantasy was like to be like that shipwrecked little boy riding that Arabian stallion on a deserted beach. So one summer, I rode Rusty down to this Indianola beach and had her just like jump into the Puget Sound, and I jumped off of her. But I think I had like the Chariots of Fire, like this 1980s Chariots of Fire soundtrack going in my head. I know some of you are too young, so I'm gonna just play that for a second. Musical interlude. Okay, so just, I'm like riding her, my braids are going like this. Sounds really nice about now during quarantine. I love that pony. I had to turn the music off. But she was like murdered. Oh, this was so tragic. She got loose one day and went across the street to the Simpsons' house. They had this stallion ranch, and the stallion tried to mount her and broke all of her legs. Oh, so we had to put her to sleep. My mom's mom, God, my mom's dad, my grandpa Smiley, he had a backhoe, so he came over and he picked up Rusty's body, and she's like limp in the backhoe, and he took her out into the woods, put her down, and then he had to like dig a deep hole. Well, I guess the backhoe goes this way. Anyway, dug a deep hole, 6 feet under, put Rusty's body in there. Oh, it was really, really, really tragic. So several years go by, yada, 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 and I start thinking about Nova and my George O'Keeffe fantasy. And I get this idea to dig Rusty up, right, to draw her skull. Makes sense? So I recruit my brothers and some neighborhood kids to start digging in the woods. So I had already formed this paramilitary club called the Camo Club, in which we would dress up in camouflage and like throw pine cones at each other. This was before the days of paintball. And so like, I think I remember my excuse for forming this club was because I wanted to draw little individual membership cards with an eagle on it. But I promise we did not plot to kidnap anyone though. So I must have lied to the kids and told them that we were like making foxholes for one of our war games, or maybe like an underground bunker. We live really nearby Bangor Naval Base, so there's, military, there's, nuclear submarines out there, but, so you never know. We did know people who had underground bunkers. Yeah, you never know what's gonna happen. So I was really careful that after every digging session, I had the kids like cover the foxhole with like brush and stuff. So after several days of digging, my minions did reach down to the 6 feet under part, and like, we discovered Rusty, but she was not at all like the gleaming bones I'd imagined from George O'Keeffe's cow skull with calico roses. I think we saw just like her rust-colored leg, and it was like fully intact, and then the smell, it was really putrid, so the kids went running and told on me, and I was like puking in the woods. Just remember, you're gonna get caught. Moms always know, right? They always know. They just know. Change can be really hard though, and sometimes our fantasies about how things are going to work out, they just don't work out. So sometimes you just have to change your perspective. So Mom, I am really proud of you for changing, being open to change. So I'm sorry for swearing so much. I don't normally swear this much at all, I promise, but I'm gonna just blame that one on the dexamethasone. All right, thank you, and be sure to vote.